Okay, this is the third time I'm trying to do this video. Hopefully I get it to be done because I'm gonna return my computer. I've been having a lot of problems with that computer. Anyway, this is breaking news, guys. This is breaking news. Okay, so the breaking news is this. Breaking news. 100 million Capital One accounts have been hacked. They're hacked. I wonder who told you that this was going to happen. Was it me? If you're watching my pay-per-view, you will see on your screen where is my pay-per-view. The number of the pay-per-view that I talk about this is number 37 in the list of all my videos of pay-per-view. I'm also going to place the pay-per-view underneath this video on YouTube. Okay, so let's take a look at this video and then I will tell you what's going to happen.
There's a breaking news story that's coming into us right now, and this is somewhat alarming. If you are one of 100 million Americans who has some type of account, maybe a credit card, maybe you filled out an application for a credit card with Capital One, you have been hacked. As a matter of fact, it's not just in the United States. It's also in apparently parts of Canada as well. Again, this is a breaking news story. I think what you just saw there was what? Michelle Greenstein's joining us now. She's come back after the other story you did earlier for us on Huawei. You're doing double duty tonight, by the way.
Yes, sir.
To bring us the very latest on what's going on with this Capital One story. So what have you learned?
Sure. So Capital One has announced that a hacker has accessed about 106 million credit card applications. We have about 80,000 bank account numbers that have been compromised and 140,000 social security numbers that have been exposed as well. Now, today, the FBI actually arrested a Seattle woman named Paige Thompson, and federal prosecutors say it was she who broke into these servers that Capital One had rented from a cloud computing company. Now, the cloud computing company is not named in the court documents. However, we do know that Thompson is a former employee of Amazon Web Services.
Okay. I just hold it right there. I'm going to prove to you that the cabal is about to strike. Okay? What did she just said? That the hacker that was detained, that was arrested, was also a former employee of Amazon. Amazon. I wonder what she's talking about. Trump will call off the Pentagon's $10 billion cloud contract. I wonder who has the cloud contract. The President Donald Trump is prepared to call off the procurement of the Pentagon's $10 billion cloud computing contract, according to the CNN. A source close to the White House told CNN that Trump wants to schedule the process and possible reopen it back again with the extra quadrilles. The Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure Contract, also known as JEDI, represents the Department of Defense attempt to build an infrastructure that can both coordinate its existing NEXT or disparate cloud network, but also utilize cloud in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. At the tactical age, Amazon Web Service. The $10 billion was supposed to go to Amazon Web Services, the cloud computer arm of Amazon.com Inc. There is a NASDAQ, a Microsoft Corporation. NASDAQ, Microsoft are the two finalists to land the sole source contract. Trump has gotten more involved in the contract in recent weeks after hearing complaints from companies that lost out on the deal, including Oracle Corporation. That the competition is landed toward Amazon. Oracle lost a legal challenge disputing the contract earlier this month. Some Republican lawmakers have asked the president to intervene, while others have asked him to stay out. Trump said July 19, that's when actually the news came out originally, July 19, today is July 30, the White House was going to take a strong look. They're going to consider at the Biden process. The president's potential intervention comes as a memo identical one created by Oracle lobbyist Kenneth Gluck has reportedly made his way to the president's desk, according to CNN. The memo does not make allegations of wrongdoing but offers innuendos or connections between Korean and foreign Defense Department staff and Amazon. So, what is cloud computing in the internet? Cloud computer is not secure. What is the cabal? Well, let me remind you, does the chairman of Amazon like Donald Trump? No. He doesn't like him. And trust me, our president doesn't like him either. All right? Facts are facts. Isn't that something? So, if you've been watching my pay-per-view, you will know what I'm talking about. The breaking the system. The prophetic word on the breaking the system says there shall be a break in the system. And then the pause, the dinar. But the breaking the system that a lot of our gurus are talking about, that all the currency will revalue and everybody's going to be so happy. No. I'm sorry. That's not the way the cabal has planned. It's been over 25 years in the making of this breaking the system. Yes, I said it. Over 25 years in the making to break the system. The prophetic word of King Clement talk about the breaking the system, but also talks about something that says when things seem at the worst. God forbid that you experience the cabal breaking the system. You won't be able to spend your money. You won't be able to withdraw any money from the machines, for the ATM machines. You won't be able to withdraw any money even if you try to go to a bank. No, you're not. Because everything is electronic. Everything is either in electronic or in the cloud. In the cloud, people. Wake up. They're going to put the United States on his knees. And why? Because every 18 years and a half, they do it. They change your paradigm. Every single 18 years and a half, they do it. They change your paradigm. So one more time, if you have not watched my pay-per-view, you should watch my pay-per-view. It's only $9.99. And get educated. Be ready for the best, but also be ready for the worst. Okay? So, let me take you back to the news.
You know, as I look at this, I'm wondering how it is that one person, just not being a tech guy, could have accessed all this. And I also read moments ago, correct me if I'm wrong, that this person was actually bragging about their exploits on social media. Is that true?
That is true, and that may be why they were able to make an arrest so quickly. And to your other point, some may even say that this case is an example about maybe one of the dangers of cloud computing and how securing your data may fall lower on the list of priorities from a business than making money off of you. Now, federal prosecutors say that this theft occurred between March and July of this year, although Capital One only found out on July 19th, so quite recently. Although Capital One stresses that no credit card numbers were compromised, no login credentials were exposed, and that an internal investigation is underway. Now, this hack is expected to cost the company at least $100 million. Wow. And Capital One chairman and CEO actually released this statement today. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. He said, "I sincerely apologize for the understandable worry that this incident must be causing those affected, and I am committed to making this right."
Thank you for making sense of that quote that came up a little while ago. I wasn't sure what we were getting up. Do we know anything about this person, by the way?
Well, we do.
I know
the hacker.
By the way,
sure.
but before you report anything, but for those of you watching us and not watching CNN or MSNBC or any of the other networks, they're probably telling you right now that she's got connections to the Kremlin. Am I wrong?
I didn't see any coverage saying that, but I haven't seen it. Maybe.
Have you ever seen a story about hacking without somebody in the U.S. media saying it's the Russians?
Right. I mean, maybe this story is getting a lot of traction, as it should be, because there's one easy target. There's one person being accused. It's very easy to tell this story, right? But sometimes the systemic breach of our data or like our data collection goes a little bit less unnoticed when it's, institutionalized. But according to Thompson's court records, you asked the question, what do we know about her? Well, we know that her court hearing is scheduled for Thursday. And according to Bloomberg, in court today, she actually broke down, apparently, and laid her head down on the table during her hearing. Now, in terms of what she's charged with,
the reason I'm asking the question is, and I'd love to find out, and I'm sure we probably don't know the answer to this question yet, but I would love to know at some point. There are people who do these types of things because they're trying to make a statement. In other words, these greedy SOBs, I'm going to go after them, I'm going to show them, and I'm really smart, and I'm going to take them down. And there are people who do this because they're greedy and they really want to use other people's social security numbers to make millions of dollars.
Just because they can, right.
Which one is she? We don't know.
There's no definitive information about what her motives may have been yet. We do know that she's been charged with a single charge of computer fraud and abuse, and she faces the maximum penalty of $250,000. That's a
Wait a minute. Did you say that the maximum penalty will be $250,000? So she's not going to prison. So, let me put this right. Let me get this right. The cabal doesn't have $250,000 to pay her and let her go? Yes, the cabal has all the money. Does the security that she's not gonna be burned after she bragged about hacking one of the biggest credit cards companies in the world? She bragged about it in the social media, and that's why they grab her and arrest her. And she only is gonna be paid $250,000. As you know, I've been telling you about one of the biggest signals of the cabal, the elites, are the big ego. When you hear somebody talking about, I can do this, I can do this, and all that, he's a member of an elite. They have a lot of ego. So when they have a lot of ego, they brag about it. Got it? Now, let's see what more can they tell us about the news, shall we? All right.
fine.
When we look at hacks like this, do we know how often it is a person or group of persons versus an institution, a nation state, a group? Have you looked into the whole hacking thing that seems to be in the news all the time now?
Well, let's remember that this is just days after this settlement that came from the Equifax data breach, and that's a breach that affected 147 million U.S. citizens. So you may be able to say that this is something that's becoming more common as we start relying on what's called the cloud for a lot of our computing. It's possible, though, that the single actors like that you're speaking of get a bit more media attention when they hack something than organizations do.
Shouldn't we be worried, though, that a company like Capital One is saying, oh, it's going to cost us $100 million to get this right? The fact that you could just throw out $100 million to get something right about a problem like this means that maybe this particular model that we're using is suspect, right?
I mean, I think that's a great point. It's always the case in a profit-based system that you're going to make decisions based on profit. So if securing your data falls lower on the list of priorities than making money from you, then that's the way it's going to go. And this company is definitely going to face a fine, just like Equifax had to pay out some money.
Right.
But ultimately, we may not see any structural changes to how our data is being kept secure or not secure unless it becomes profitable to make those structural changes.
Exactly. Unless they make money protecting your data, they're going to make the changes. Why they're still using first generation firewalls? Why? How do I know that? I just have a guy that was a contractor for Equifax, and they told me they're using the most old firewalls in that company. Have they changed it? No. Why? They're not going to spend any money for your security. They don't care about your security. Bankers don't give a damn about your security. I don't care what they tell you. I've been a banker. I know what I'm talking about. So unless they do any money, they won't do shit for you. Face the facts. And I want you to pray. I want you to pray, because if they actually succeed and delete millions of accounts and we back to zero, yes, you're not going to pay all your debts. You're not going to pay all your credit cards. You're not going to pay your car, your home. Yes, you won't. But what about in the middle of the process? How are you going to buy your food? How are you going to pay for your gas? How are you going to pay for your electricity? How? Who told you that this was going to be pretty? Who told you that the reset will be such a nice thing that everybody will just be happy about it? Who? Anybody who told you that is lying to you. They have no sources, no information. And I don't care if you don't like me. Facts don't give and don't care about your feelings. Facts don't give a shit about your feelings. Simple. Now, let me show you what's going to happen in August. This is what's going to happen in August. When things seem at the worst. Prophet Charlie Champ, prophetic word for August 2019. The month of August 2019 will be difficult month. Notice that the prophet, the God told him twice, difficult month. I heard the Lord said, count the dates, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 4 dates, 8, 9, 10, and 11. What did the Lord told me? I got 4, I got 11. I got 4, I got 11. Watch and pray. Don't miss my August live show where I'm going to tell you how the elites call the month of August. Thank you so much for your attention. Pray a lot, because things are not going to be pretty.